We were talking about the pure and the impure mind. So you see the understanding of these masters, they say that you are having an anxiety, duality, conflict, confusion. It is because of the impurity of the mind. And because we can purify the mind so we can get rid of those challenges in our day to day life. So that impurity of the mind becomes uncontrolled. We have a strong feeling of likes and dislikes. And there are people, you might have seen, there are people who react instantly instead of responding. They are not ready to listen to uh, the entire conversation. So that indicates an emotional dependence. And if we go a little deeper, these masters compare this emotional dependence to the animal mind. Animal mind, they are impulsive, they are instinctive. We say, they just go out and work without any understanding. They have an impulsive reaction. So, do we have the same attitude and behavior and action in our daily life? If yes, then we need to change. Another point that the master made that yes, first you recognize what is happening in your mind because mind is the cause of suffering. So once we recognize and we understand, then we can work on how to bring about a change in our mind. Another problem that the human mind has is imagination and delusion. I look at the John and my mind imagines, he doesn't like me. So that imagination, and then it goes into the delusion, and then I keep on thinking, and then I'm ready to react. I'm talking in a very simple way, but it happens. It happens all the time. You go to the party in an event and you meet a lot of people, and ultimately someone says you something, and mind begins the imagination, it falls into delusion. So that what is very important there is a cognitive ability that we have, but our intellect is free to choose, and we choose through our imagination, and we fall into delusion, and that causes a lot of challenges in our life. That is one of the major reasons we have been suffering from anxiety, fear, conflict, confusion, reaction. So there the master comes up, and again they say, no, wait, understand that the human being has given the free intellect, free will to receive and retain the knowledge. You see, if you have a pet, you want to give your pet the environment, the condition which they are meant for. We can adapt to the different situations and environment. Lion, forest. Forest is the home. Even in a zoo, we create the same kind of environment, but we can adapt to any kind of environment. Polar bears, you can bring them to Arizona, they are going to die. Or you have to create such environment. We have an ability to adapt. So understand that, receive and retain the knowledge, and we can realize the knowledge. Means I can receive the knowledge by which I can purify the mind so that I can live in peace and happiness. I can live in peace and happiness. So then the master goes further, and the master says, What do you think? What should be your goal of life? Physical maturity. Once the animals have the physical maturity, they are happy to live with that sense of physical maturity. They don't need any kind of mental and emotional maturity. They are inbuilt. They don't have an issue that I have, you have a bigger house, I have a smaller house. You know, they don't have a competition and a comparison and a conflict because their mind is inbuilt. Our mind is also inbuilt, but we have a choice. But to exercise that choice, I have to think. Thinking is a remarkable ability of a human being. So that thinking must follow a right direction. There comes the Eastern wisdom. What is right direction? I have seen 90% of the people's mind constantly thinks about the world of people, places, events, situation, and their honey. My honey is not listening to me. So why you are forcing him or her to listen to you? First, you answer this question. So you married because you wanted him or her to listen to you? Then go further, keep on thinking. If he or she is going to listen to you, will you be happy? Will you be happy forever? The answer is no. So it means I'm moving in a wrong direction. So, based on this observation, they say that you have to find out and stick. First, you find out what exactly is the goal of life, and then you keep your focus there. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Let everyone be happy. Let everyone be blessed. So, when we look at these mantras written almost 5,000 years ago, it says that let everyone be happy. We all are seekers of peace and happiness, whether it's a mosquito or elephant or a tiger or any living species. We can choose the right path, and the animals and other living species, they are, they have an automatic mechanism, built mechanism. They want to move towards the same peace and happiness. So the goal of life to see how we can discover that permanent peace and happiness, love, truth, and wisdom, independent of any person outside. You see that. Pay attention to this. Independent of any situation, condition, person, relationship. The moment it is dependent, I have an emotional bondage. Then I have lot of expectations. And then in my lifetime, I become more crazy than I think. Because I'm always expecting peace and happiness from an outer situation, condition, people, relationship. And then the master goes a little deeper. It says, no, forget about it. You cannot find peace and happiness anything in the world. My honey does not have a property of peace and happiness. How can I find the peace and happiness there? It is not in the pasta. If I like pasta, that is why I eat pasta. But liking does not give me that happiness. So then people, there is a constant evolution in the modern age, and then we started saying that the money cannot buy happiness. Marriage is not a guarantee to the happiness, or being single is also not a guarantee to the happiness. Being single, we find loneliness. Loneliness means that I'm expecting something from the world outside, but I'm holding back. And getting married is that open to the pleasure, but I don't get the pleasure. So gradually, then you see that how they develop this entire principles and the philosophy, very practical, very pragmatic. With that clarity of understanding, we come to a conclusion that the impurity of the mind means I have a desire from the world, I have an expectation from the world that peace and happiness are located outside in the world. If I have a good house, if I have a good husband or a wife, if I have a couple of kids, if I have a pet, and if I have a good car, I'll be happy, but happiness is not there. And my goal remains unfulfilled. So, what exactly now understand what is the impurity of the mind? If I am seeking peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom from the world outside, that causes the impurity because it causes the expectation, anxiety, anger, reaction, fear, frustration. There is no other reason for my fear, frustration, conflict, confusion, reaction. You stop expecting peace and happiness from the world outside and you see what happens to the mind. Mind is empty, otherwise, the mind is wandering. Otherwise, the mind keeps on wandering. Came to my house and she did not respect me. Why you are seeking respect from the others? Just for simple, crazy stuff, we we make our mind impure. This is what the entire scheme, the way, one approach of the Eastern wisdom. There are hundreds of approaches. So now, what the master says, I remember the oldest text of yoga, written about, I would say, 5,000 years ago. And the name of that book is Yoga Vasishtha. Yoga, you already know the word. Vasishtha is the name of the master. Now see, he says the like the bird has two wings to fly. In those days, they have to give the metaphor pertaining to the nature. There was no scientific equipment and inventions were there. Like the bird which has the two wings which make them fly, if the one wing is not working, they cannot fly. The human beings have also the two wings to discover that peace and happiness, love and wisdom. One wing is the knowledge of the real self. Other wing is the action, the right action, the right effort that we give to our life. Right effort, right action. So, right action must be supported by the right knowledge, then the right thought. Right thought pertains to that is right thought. What is right thought? I'm expecting peace and happiness from you. It's not a right thought. So what they have found out that we should become aware of the entire existence, whatever the situation, the relations, and the people that we have. We should connect to the world outside. We should contribute to the world outside. We should be grateful to the existence outside. Instead of mind is constantly running after a desire, fulfilling their expectation. We have changed the entire orientation of the mind. So, what they have said, these are the conventional methods that we have to live our life by thinking, speaking, and acting in personal life, in profession. I am married, so let my mind think how I can express peace and happiness in relationship instead of expecting peace and happiness from her. So now you see that you have changed the entire orientation of the mind by thinking, by speaking, by acting. No, no, I asked you that you should give me a cup of coffee and you were so busy and you did not. No blame complaint. No, no. So we have an American system that is much better than Indians. Husbands is always expecting, you don't give me, and they fight. We have other issues. John, we have other issues in American society. But issues are there. I'm giving private coaching to this girl, this woman. She is 65, and she told me after listening to me for about a year that why didn't you meet me 20 years back? I should not have divorced. So we have that realization, the right knowledge. Once you get the right knowledge, you realize that what mistake I have committed. But now it's okay. Now she's living a good life. She is single and she has a good business and she earns money and she says, I want to realize the real self. As long as I'm alive, I will not leave you. Oh, that makes my living also easier. When you have a private client, so you charge enough to sustain. So I go then with a specialized practice, come back to that. That very approach, the mind should be purified. That simply means in my thought, speech, and action, there is no intention of desire fulfillment. The motivation of thought, speech, and action should be self fulfillment. So they coin the different word. Desire fulfillment versus the self fulfillment. And in order to make this principle very clear, they said the desires cannot be fulfilled. You cannot have a desire fulfillment. You fulfill one desire, the second desire pops up. You have a Mercedes car, so no, now I will have Maserati. You marry Miss Universe of 2022. What about Miss Universe 2023? You see that. That desire naturally pops up. Because if you are on a spree to fulfill your desire, it will never be fulfilled. I'm just giving one example. Who marries 2022 or 2023? So mind pops up with one desire, it fulfills, and then it goes for another desire. And if you get obsessed with one desire, it backfires. You like pasta, so one bite, second bite, third bite, you have taken fifth one, and now you say that's enough. And I say, because you like pasta, take more. Take another four. Then you will start fighting with me. What the heck you're saying? My stomach is full. The same pasta that was giving the pleasure, overdoing it gives you the pain. I did not refer this in our relationship. In a couple, sometimes the husband gets obsessed with the wife, or sometimes the wife gets obsessed with the husband. And that obsession causes the problem, and we don't realize. Do you see that? I love you, honey, all the time. And the honey says, enough is enough. I know that you love me. Now do your work. There are many more things other than love in the life. You see that so liking and disliking has their limitations. Because like and dislike causes the happiness and unhappiness. So ultimately come back to desire fulfillment is not there. It is a delusion. It is an ignorance. It is a great impurity of the mind. Unless we stop thinking, speaking, and acting on the basis of the desired fulfillment, there cannot be happiness in the world. Forget about happiness, peace, love, and wisdom. See another point here, uh, that when there is a desire fulfillment in the mind, that this impure mind wants to use the world of people, of places, events, situation, and conditions as utility. I am a center of the universe. When I fulfill the desire, you are an object, you fulfill my desire. So there is a deeper sense of exploitation in the minds of those people who uses the entire world for the desired fulfillment, as if the world is created for me and my pleasure. Have you heard the word phrase, what we say, eat, drink, and be merry? As long as we have this attitude of the mind, eat, drink, and be merry, we are bound to be frustrated in our life. There is no chance. There is no chance for happiness. And then they worked on it. Then what is the goal of life? Goal of life is to find the peace and happiness in the world. And in where is the peace and happiness? The peace and happiness are within me. Peace is my essential nature. It is of the nature of consciousness. I have to remove what causes the delusion. Because of the desire fulfillment, I have an illusion and ignorance that I am the body, but I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the intellect. I am not the ego. Then who am I? I am the real self. What is the real self? It is of the nature of pure consciousness. So now the goal of life is clear. So if our focus is to discover that real self, and where it is, when it is available all the time. Real self is I am. What is this I am? This I am is pure consciousness. One more thing, then we will continue with the journey. You see that, you say it is available all the time, so why I don't realize it? Because you are living with a lot of impurities in the mind. No, can you show me? For a while, yes, I can show you. What do you mean by, I know you? If I am not conscious of you, then I don't know you. Is it clear? When I say I know you, I am conscious of you. I know the book Self behind John. So I know, it means I'm conscious. If I'm not conscious, then I don't know what is lying there. I don't know John, I don't know you, me, I don't know anyone. So now see that how the real self is available all the time, and which we miss. Where is that missing point? The moment I wake up in the morning, I use the knowledge. How? I know you. I know the I know the restroom. That's why I go there. I know the kitchen. That's why I go there. I know the bedroom. I'm conscious of the restroom, I'm conscious of the kitchen, I'm conscious of the chair where I'm sitting, I'm conscious of the tea, I'm conscious. When I'm conscious of everything, then the next question arises, am I consciousness? Because I'm conscious of. Are you getting it? I'm conscious of. So before I become conscious of anything in the world, it begins with a consciousness. Unconsciousness, yes. We forget this. I pay more attention, I'm conscious of meat, so I pay more attention to the meat. I'm conscious of John, so I pay more attention to the John. And then this multiplicity of this world. Mine goes to the cardigan. You say the cardigan of the John is such a beautiful. The mind has impulses of likes and dislikes. So mind expands and scattered in millions of directions. Why? Because of desire fulfillment. If you have a self fulfillment, it is naturally focused. And when it is naturally focused, it follows the journey of the East and West. So let us see, close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed, and so you see that first eyes are closed, and position of the body, adjust and align the position of the body so that align and adjust the position of the body so that you are comfortable. So you see that you are conscious of the comfort of the body. I'm using the word what we discussed. That consciousness is always available, my friends. I'm conscious of my eyes are closed. Reason out. Have a clarity. So why I close my eyes? Because I close my eyes. When the eyes are open, mind goes through the eyes in with the millions and thousands of the objects that is available in front of it. And because of its likes and dislikes, which is the impurity, it creates the likes and dislikes instantly. I give an example of the cardigan. So now we have understood that is why we closed our eyes. Okay, comfort position. Comfort position. So I did not practice comfortable, but I follow the comfort. That is my experience. Oh, so being comfortable is the key, not to become comfortable. When you want to become comfortable, it will never be. It is not possible. Oh, it means I'm conscious of the comfort. So in the consciousness, the comfort is there. Yes, that we miss. Why we miss? Because of millions of impurities of the mind. But even then, we go with you look. Look means mentally look. You are looking mentally means you are becoming conscious of the neck joint. So when you are conscious, you are aware or conscious, both are the same. Then what happens? You experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Did you do any practice? No. So I am conscious of comfort, sensation, and steadiness. I am conscious of shoulder joint. I'm giving you the instructions, so I'm just saying, and you can use the same word. I'm conscious of the shoulder joints means I'm There is an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And after that, there is a space. Why there is a space? Because the mind is turning inward, it changes its direction. When you are consciously changing the direction of the mind from outside to inside, mind is scattered outside all the time, mind is gathered when it moves inside. I cannot find inside you me. You cannot find inside me you. There is only one you. So gently we change the direction of the mind. So looking at the entire body from the crown of the head to the toes, you are conscious of the body. You feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness that prepares the ground for the mind to move inside. Again, remember, moving inside, self-fulfillment. Moving outside, desire fulfillment. I have to desire for some object or some person, something, some situation, some event. So mind has to go out. So how being comfortable helps us to change the direction of the mind. Very good. So in that state, be carefree. That we discussed in the beginning of the new year, that this mind, mental highway, that is the beauty of the understanding of the Eastern wisdom and applying it. I gave an example, a metaphor. There are a highway, we have 3 lanes. Mental highway, we have 3 lanes. The lane number 1, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, they enter into the mind. You are driving on the lane 2. Lane 1 is totally packed. What problem lane 1 causes to you? Nothing. If I am aware that I am driving on the lane number 2. What is that? You are listening to my instructions, that gives you the knowledge, and you are aware. So when you are aware, the lane number 1 is there, so unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, they are coming and going. Let them come and go. You do not get attached to it. Why you get attached to it? You both have told me sometime in some of the sessions while sharing the experiences, I could not control my. You need not to control the thought. When you are driving in lane 2, do you control the lane 1? So why we express that way? Because the mind subconsciously, unconsciously, impulsively, habitually is seeking the desired fulfillment. That is why it is running after the lane number 1. So what being carefree is the step. That is what I told you, that being carefree is the step. Carefree means the lane number 1 is there, but I'm on the lane number 2, so I'm carefree. What that means at a very subtle level, you are simply aware or conscious, or I can say you separated those unwanted, unwelcome thoughts from you. That is also a knowledge, that is also a consciousness. What happens? The result is the lane number 3. Because you are consciously aware, you have to do nothing with the lane number 2 of unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. You are free. Because that sense of freedom brings the calmness. But was the calmness not before? Yes, it was there. Why I feel now? Because I separated myself. That separation is known as the power of discernment. Where? In the intellect. I have to apply the knowledge. I told you that we human beings have 2 wings. One is the knowledge and other is action. That action is practice. There are thousands of ways to go about it, to separate. Lane 1 is unwanted thoughts. Okay. So lane 2, you introduce breath awareness. What it means? You look at the breath. Look means you are conscious of the breath. At the same time, when unwanted thought comes, you are also aware of the you are also aware of the unwanted thought. You are aware of the breath, you are aware of the unwanted thought. Now the choice is done by the intellect. You keep looking at the breath. You keep looking at the breath, moving in and out, moving in and out, then feeling the sensation, and no change in rate and rhythm of the breath. So, what happens? In your mind, you have the breath awareness, and you have also in the mind, in lane number 1, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. You don't go there. You are aware of it. You know. Never think you should become unconscious of the thought, unwanted thoughts. It will never happen. They will remain there until the purity of the mind is achieved. So we are not insistent on that. Thoughts are coming and going, but I am fully 100% conscious of the breath going in, coming out, feeling the sensation. There I'm not bringing any change. So what it means? It means fully in lane 2, not worried about lane 1. Result is lane 3. What is the result? Calmness. Why calmness? Mind is not running after it unwanted, and that is possible. Why it is not? Again, I am using the word impurity. Desire fulfillment. That is one, desire fulfillment. You both have understood that word, so I am using the same. Every day you live into that state, even for a few minutes, couple of times, then what's going to happen? Your mind will gain the ability to live in the lane number 2. When the time comes after a few weeks, this mind will never be concerned about unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. So we can handle, we can manage, we can bypass, we can transcend the unwanted thoughts not by suppression, not by control, not by fight. We don't pay attention. That is a unique way to purify the mind, and that is what the Buddha proposes. We can move directly to lane number 3 as an experience. And that is what I gave you. I said, look at the head and the neck. So you follow the lane number 2, that means the knowledge. Lane number 1 may be active, let it be active. You look at it, you look at the head and the neck, you be there and feel and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So that sensation, relaxation, and stillness is lane number 3. Without doing anything. I made it very clear. It is the same mind. It's a mental highway. One highway, 3 lanes. All the 3 lanes, one highway. All the 3 lanes in the mind, one mind. Only we have the ability as a human being to discern. Animals do not have it. So we are doing it. So again, look at the right arm. Look at the right arm. Be there. Feel sensation, relaxation, and stillness. When you experience that sensation, relaxation, and stillness, you are still aware of the lane number 1, but it is too far now. It does not have an impact, or it does have an impact if the mind contains the impressions of any object. But still, we continue the journey. And by practice, we can bring about the emotional freedom. Move the mind on the left arm. So again, pay attention what I discussed. I am conscious of the left arm. You can say that. So you are still conscious of the left arm. You feel, you experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You did not make an effort to induce sensation, relaxation, and stillness. It is already there. Why it is there? Because you jump to the lane number 3. But why I don't experience during the day? Because mostly we all are in lane number 1. Get this point. Move the mind or look at the entire rib cage in the front and the back. Feel, be aware, experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. I explained you everything. So I told you 2 wings, knowledge, and then you apply that knowledge and action. That is what exactly we are doing today in our practice. The mind goes to the right leg, be there, feel sensation, comfort, and steadiness. The mind goes to. So, which mind goes to? The lane number 2. Lane number 1 cannot go. It continues to remain engaged with unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. But still, the lane number 2, the mind goes and becomes aware and feel the left leg and experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Understand it clearly. The deeper the understanding, that means knowledge, applied by a step, results into change. So the entire body from the top of the head to the toes, feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Again, go back to the breath. So now this time, after this step, if we go back to the breath, we have more clarity. What you're doing with the breath, you're not doing anything. Layer number two understands that I have to look at the breath. I'm conscious of the breath going in and out. I feel the sensation of the breath, and I'm not doing anything. What happens? The mind jumps to the layer number three. The sense of calmness returns. It overpowers even the layer number one. And that is why we feel sometimes we share our experiences that we don't have those thoughts coming to my mind now during the practice. That sense of clarity is there. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness. You see, again I'm saying, become conscious of the right hand. Whether I say move the mind on the right hand or I say become aware, it's the same thing. Become aware of the left hand. Lift your both the palms. Place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. So when you open the eyes inside the palms, you know your experiences, then bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. Let us know where you achieved that state or you have the challenges. So how are you, John?
Hey, Girish, I'm fine. Yeah, it was pretty relaxing. But the thing that I wonder about is when I get too relaxed, I can fall asleep. And so that seems to undermine the whole process, if you see what I mean.
Yes, yes. So when I always respond in such a way in the beginning, we fall into sleep. But how long that beginning continues?
Might be a minute or two.
Might be a minute or two.
Yeah.
So I explain in a different way that when the mind moves inside, it falls down into unconsciousness, it goes into sleep. But this sleep is much better than the mind continues to wander.
Right.
So a deeper relaxation gradually converts into a state of meditation. The
Okay.
second option, the mind continues to wander on the thoughts. It means there is no progress is done. And the third option, the mind rises into higher consciousness. It looks at all those unwanted thoughts too far from you. You have achieved. Huh? You have become a seeker and you are going into a meditative step. But it comes by regular practice. If we are doing it regularly, the sleep issue resolves. But it's a good experience. So how do you meet?
I feel peaceful.
You feel peaceful. Good.
I like the idea of driving in a lane,
Yeah, yeah.
choosing which lane I'd like to drive in.
You like to drive in. Yes.
Yes.
When the mind is bombarded with unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, choose another lane. Don't pay
Yeah.
attention. Don't keep on thinking. So when we keep on thinking, we get obsessed with that object and a person, and then that object and a person overpowers me in my thought. That is what the wandering mind is. I don't choose. Simply, I don't choose.
Choose. I have choice.
I have a choice. That is what
Yes.
the human intellect is. Tiger, mosquito, elephant do not have a choice.
And that feels like a victim. I feel like then I'm a victim.
So we are our own victim of the mind.
Yes.
No one else.
But we can choose.
We can choose.
Yes, that's
We
beautiful.
can choose my honey victimizes me, or I can choose my mind victimizes me. So that choice lies with us.
Yes. Mm.
Do